Hey, so the reason why I'm doing this video is to talk about like the trials and the struggle for women such as myself trying to work a job, trying to provide for your family, trying to be the Renaissance woman of Renaissance, you know, doing it all. I mean, you're sitting up there, you're working the job, you're coming home, you're cooking the dinner, you're sitting up there trying to wash and clean the clothes, you're trying to manage everything, and it's like you're overwhelmed. Trying to go to school too. Man, please, I was telling it. I was in school. I was working. I had 5 kids. I swear I was the Renaissance woman. I was like on the move, just making stuff happen. And I was starting my own company. I had so many different things going for me, and I was like, you know what? I need time. Even when it came to school, I was like, you know, I'm trying to balance all this stuff. I'm not really feeling like I'm retaining the knowledge at school that I want to retain. I'm just like going through the motions, and I felt like my family needed me more. You know, my son, he would be winning all these awards. Honest to God, my oldest son, he would be winning all these awards, and he would always be like, "Mommy, are you coming? Mommy, I want you there." You know. And I couldn't be there, you know, and I started like getting angry and getting mad about that, you know, and stuff like that. And then I realized that if I didn't work, things would be way different for them. If I wasn't the provider, things would be way different for my family. You know, sometimes the children, and we feel guilty about being providers and that being all that we can do, just provide, you know. But think about how it is when you can't provide. I remember going into the court, and I was in custody battle for my son, and they were moving my son away from me, and they were trying to say, okay, well, she has mental health issues. I done cleared mental health evaluations a million times. Y'all keep doing the same thing, picking me up for no reason, trying to bake her at me. Every time I clear a mental health evaluation, every time I clear anything, you would just do this out of just pure spite. I mean, I have documentation. Nothing's wrong with her. She's in perfect health, mentally, physically, emotionally. She's good. She may be a little sick. She may have, you know, body illnesses, but mentally, she's capable. And I had done killed all those evaluations. And no matter how many evaluations I cleared, it wasn't enough. Then I go into the courtroom, and these people say to my face, the only reason why you don't got your kids is because you quit your job and you're not working. I couldn't say nothing. I'm just in anger because, you know, this is the Department of Children and Families, according to what I was in observation of. This Department of Children and Families telling me you're not going to be a parent over your children because you don't have no money. When this is the same program that was generated to assist in self-sufficiency, same program that was generated to help families and children, the same program that was generated to help people, was the same people that took my children because I didn't have no money. But you all say that we're the ones who help give you the assistance you need to feed. They refused to even assist me with housing. Told me, say, oh, we're not going to help you get a house, even if you get a job. That was the case manager. I'm not helping you get no house. You got to get the child back first before we help you get anything. But that was part of my case management plan, which she refused to assist with. So I was pretty much homeless with nothing for years and years. When I finally began to recover, and try to make sense of this mess they made of my life because they had been stolen my car. I had my own vehicle, had my own everything, my own apartment, own vehicle, pretty much self-sufficient to a degree of saying, okay, well, look, I'm not wealthy, but I'm self-sufficient. I got my own apartment, I got my own car, I got my own everything, and stuff like that. I got my own job, I got this, I got that. So that's where I came from, self-sufficiency. And because I chose not to stay with a job, I ended up in poverty. Now this is the messed up part. I went I left home. I would start driving up north, try to find job placement in the northern region of the state that I lived in, which is Florida. I started trying to find job placement, jobs and stuff like that, trying to get on my feet because it seemed like everything down here, it was a denial. I wasn't even getting phone calls. My phone was hacked. Still hacked even today. I couldn't get phone calls out. All that, when they talk about the 911 system, call 911, 911 system is shot. It's already hacked. I called them. I even emailed them, called them, all that stuff to let the people that work at the system know, the police know. They don't care. It's so much that happened from me not working, and stuff like that. And I'm sitting up here, I was like, look, I used to work my behind off just to provide for my family, just to put clothes on their backs, shoes on their feet, to be able to do stuff for my daughter and her friends and stuff like that, my son and their friends. And now it's like the moment I say, okay, well, look, I wanted my own job, so I made plans on starting my own company. But I hadn't got it off the ground yet. And I was going to finish school. And it just took forever. It took forever just to balance this stuff out. It took forever just to get back on my feet. It took forever just to recover. And I remember my enemies just laughing over my body, and stuff like that. And then during this time is when I started to realize that I was going through rape situations. During the time that I stopped working, I was going through rape situations while I was working. But what was happening, I couldn't even remember being raped. And that was the sad part about it. And I'm sitting up there, I'm divulging the information to the sheriff's department, like, look, I'm being raped. I don't know who raped me, but I'm being raped. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. Pretty much like as if I'm a kidnapped victim and I'm being held hostage, honest to God, by the kidnappers. And the kidnappers just sitting there laughing. Everywhere you run to, you just run to us. We the people that got you. We're not going to change what we do. We're not going to stop what we're doing, raping you. We're not going to stop abusing you. We're not going to stop nothing that we do to you. And that's the God-given truth, and that's what I was going through. And there was no help in sight. And that's how I went through every day. Not even knowing it was what, nothing. And still continuing to survive, going through the same oppression, same abuse, same situation. And trusting in God the best that I can while I'm going through all of this. And that's my honest testimony. So when I hear women say, okay, well, look, I'm sending sacrifice so that I can be home with my children. I want to spend more time. I can't get them off of school. I can't tuck them in the bed at night and stuff like that. I understand where you're coming from. But there are bigger fights that we're fighting than just tucking our kids into bed. Trust me. And I didn't know as many battles needed to be won as the ones that need to be won. So please, women, say these words, as wisdom and stuff like that. We are in an oppressive, disgraceful, disgusting environment. You got people screaming, "Oh, we're minions, we're this, we're that." All tricks of the devil. All tricks to keep you blind. All tricks to keep you oppressed. All tricks to keep you in a certain situation. I remember watching the movie The Exorcism and start getting revelation from it, just off of how demonic some people try to be and how they try to act. And I don't even think they're trying anymore. You don't have to try anymore when you get to a certain level of the disgrace that these people are to everything that we believe in as Americans, as a United States citizen, and stuff like that. I can understand why I would be kidnapped and taken through this type of stuff, because there's no other way to explain it. I remember watching documentaries, and they would talk about women that was fresh out of prison, how they would resort back to their old habits, and I was like, man, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And then I started realizing I started realizing when I started going through that, for me, my day revolved around me getting up, going to work, and coming home and taking care of my children. That was my whole day. But when I think about those days, how easy is it for a person to attack me? How vulnerable am I to them? How open am I for vulnerability? I mean, we always talk about the wild and the loose people going into certain areas, and my life was never like that. I never went into those areas. So when I don't go into nightclubs, how can you come after me? I was never in a nightclub. There was never really a vulnerability for me. I mean, let's be real. I probably talked on this a chat line or something to some people or whatever. But other than that, what other vulnerabilities that do you have that you can say that you really had a way to infiltrate me? Just holding a chat, and as long as you don't give out your phone number, you pretty much are safe. So, but there's ways to hack through that too. But nobody talks about this stuff because nobody really wants to say anything about it, and some of the people can't even remember it. That's a sad thing. I could wake up tomorrow morning and have no memory of anything that happened to me, all the damage, the abuse, all of it. It could be completely wiped away. And nobody talks about this type of thing. I remember being raped in my home with my uniform on. Raped like a woman in the streets raped. Waking up to a big, tall, nasty black nothing on top of me, raping the hell out of me. And guess what? I couldn't even remember it until I stopped working. Don't nobody know really how I feel about certain things. Don't nobody really know how I feel about all the things that I went through. And really can't divulge it because it's not like I'm giving my body to you or whatever. And, even some people sure it's not your boyfriend or the man that you were pregnant by or something like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, the man that I would have been pregnant by would have never violated me like that. Would have never done something like that. And even if they had done something like that, which I can't believe that they would. I don't even know how to justify half the stuff that I done been through. I don't even know how to justify. All I can do is just testify about it. Maybe somebody have the answer a couple of years later and say, okay, this is what happened. Because, I write I email constantly, writing reports of just being raped and not having a source to go to actually report it. So it's not like you can say, okay, well, I'm not in the hands of my enemy. Why wouldn't I be in the hands of my enemy when you're going to victim services, which is supposed to be an advocation for rape victims, for domestic violence victims, for victims of certain situations, and they refuse to even really offer any help. I mean, I even asked for help with moving. They was like, no, we're not helping you move. Just stay here and go through. Not one financial funding did they offer. FEMA. I was looking at a trailer where you could see clear through to the floor. FEMA say, we're only giving you $300. Sweep it up and clean it out. We're not giving you no money for no apartments, not giving you money to move. I didn't have any money, but all of these are free systems. All of these are governmental systems that the government put in place, actually fund, and they were still being funded by the government. The government is not going to stop funding their agencies or not going to start funding them, because when I was told that I couldn't get money, there was women getting $3,000 and $4,000 checks, $5,000 checks, and they lived in the project. They in the projects getting $5,000. They ain't even got to fix a house, and they ain't gonna move out the apartment. But I couldn't get not one dime. So I didn't even know how to receive that or perceive it. I'm a certified grant writer. As soon as I left my job, I went and took the training to learn how to write grants. Period. From USA grant writing. Went online, not one grant applied, not one discretionary grant, not one grant applied. Got in contact with a woman who was there at the grant writing thing. I guess she must have known I was probably going to need some help. Guess what? Couldn't even get to her because of all the BS that was going on. Couldn't even get to her for the meeting to sit down, talk about it, and actually get something started and do a partnership. Nobody knew how many doors closed for me during that time that I may never get there. But nobody knew how many doors open either that I do have now. Needless to say, like I said, it's a lot going on. A lot of kidnapping, victimization, these people thinking that they have power, possession over United States citizens. There's a lot of things going on with us with vision impairment, physical holds and holding, like they're actually holding you hostage, like you are prisoner or inmate, and stuff like that. They don't care about our people at all. I remember being locked up for no reason. Why would you lock up me? Really? What did I do? I remember them just picking out reasons to just come put handcuffs on me. I remember the same person who was saying that they were for me, the guy that I was dating, destroying my whole life and bragging about it, because he said, I'm not going to leave you until you don't have nothing left. Guess what? When he left, I had nothing left. I remember the landlord giving him a key to my mailbox, and I'm like, why would he give you a key to my mailbox when my name's on the lease? Because I paid for rent. After the nothings that I dated during that time, I never wanted to date a man or woman or nothing. Not one could ever fool me to date them. If you see me with one, you best believe I'm out my ever loving mind. Because I can't stomach them. And that's the God helping truth. I'm sorry to come on here bitter, but the truth is the truth. I'm gonna be real with you. This is me sitting up here telling you how it is, telling you how I really feel about the situation. I don't want to lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. I done been through some crappy situations because I had the wrong type of people around me that was crappy. And trust me, all of them smiled in my face until I went down to nothing. And when I was finally at nothing, that's when they set up and they attacked me. So know what you're dealing with, know what you're going through, and stuff like that. It took the act of the will of God to just put me in a situation where I'm somewhat recovering. I ain't even recovering. I don't even make enough to even afford a house or afford my own living situation. Right now, I pay this man $500 a month to stay here, and he's talking about he's my dad, but I pay him $500 to stay here at his house, surrounded by all his crap, and that's how I survive. $500 a month. And then when I asked him, could I put a shed in the backyard so that I can sleep in the shed because there's so much stuff going on with me spiritually. This man sat up there and told me, as long as you're going to keep paying me $500 a month, when the shed itself is going to cost me $500 just to sleep in it. And they charging almost $10,000 for a shed. Sheds usually are $1,200 and some dollars, $10,000. These people want to charge me for a shed. Nobody knows the half of what I'm going through and how I feel. But anyway, these are not words of encouragement. This is my testimony of what I'm going through. Hopefully one day that will change. May God bless you guys. Be safe.